Before you quit your job, learn how to turn your skills into a business, because I see so many people online talking about they want to quit their job without actually knowing how to do it, without knowing how to turn their actual skills, the skills that they innately carry, into a business. Hi, if you're new here, my name is Noma, and I help aspiring business owners, entrepreneurs utilize their skills and turn them into an online business. There are so many people online right now talking about quit your job, become an entrepreneur, start a business, make money online. And listen, I left my job too 4 years ago. After many years of working at a job that I actually loved, a job that I actually prayed for, and ended up quitting it, I'm here to tell you this. Let me be real with you. I want you to understand this, because I quit my job to build my own business. And I want you to understand that you really do need a strategy. I know you want that time freedom. I know you want to build that brand, $1 million brand that God has instilled in you. I know you have ideas, and I know you're feeling stuck. I'm gonna get to that. But the thing I want you to know is that when you wake up the next day after you quit your job, do you even know what you're building? Do you even know what you're called to build? Who you're even serving? What are you building for them? What problem do you solve? How are you going to make money? And now you're confused and you don't have money coming in. So before you quit your job, I want you to look at the skills that you already have. Yes, you do have skills. You have skills that you already have, skills that you've been sleeping on, skills that you've been overlooking because it comes so easy for you, skills that you've had for 5, 10, 15 years. It is now time to build that business. Stop thinking that you have to start from scratch. I think a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs, business owners get stuck and overwhelmed right here because they feel like they need to start all the way from the beginning, as in, I need to learn coding, graphic design. I need to learn how to market and have 30-step plan. I need to start from 0 all the way up to 1,000. That's so unrealistic, and that is false. But this is where you're going to shift your perspective. What if you started from what you already know? You've been at a job for years. Even if it wasn't for years, even if, let's say, for months, you still learned something. They hired you for a reason. Think about your job. What have you been doing the past few years? Don't just say, oh, customer service. Okay, yes, customer service. Let's use that as an example. Let's break that down. You learn how to communicate with people. You've learned how to solve problems. You've learned how to de-escalate situations. You've learned how to deal with certain things within that environment. You've learned customer skills, customer needs. Those are actually skills. Let's say that you're an administrative. You're an admin assistant. You have systems that you've learned. So as an admin assistant, you're probably organizing schedules, sending emails, keeping people organized. Maybe you're a teacher. You know how to communicate information. You know how to break it down for people to understand clearly. Those are skills. The problem is that you don't see them as skills because you do them every single day. But there are people out there praying for a way out of their situation. There are people praying on how to become a teacher, how to be organized, how to become an admin assistant. And you've been doing it for so long that you've stopped seeing its value. But let's break it down even further. So let's bring faith in God into this season, because it's teaching you something. This season is teaching you something, but what is that thing? Have you paused and asked yourself, what is this season actually teaching you? What are you supposed to learn in this season? I know you hate your job. I know you're ready for that time freedom. I know you want to be your own boss and take an hour lunch. But I want you to know this. Don't leave without collecting the lessons, the skills, the experiences that you need in order for you to carry into your next season. Because what if that job was developing something in you? Look, I was a coach for years, over a decade. I would have never, ever thought that those same skills would be the skills that I'll be using today in my business. Sometimes you're asking God, what business should I start? But maybe you already have a business. You already have the signs, the clues. People are coming up to you right now for what? You are the go-to for a reason. That idea won't leave your mind. As hard as you've been trying to focus on work and climb up the ladder, that idea won't leave you for a reason, because you're called, you're meant to start that business. What is that business? So let's do a skills inventory. Get a pen, get a paper, get a notebook. These are the questions I want you to ask yourself so that you can collect information and inherit some type of identity on who it is that you are becoming and what you're called to build. Okay, so the first question, what do I actually know how to do? Please don't overthink this. You've been called to do something, be it at work. Let's use work for example. What have you been trained to do? What can you do really well at work that people come to you for at work? Have you managed people? Have you trained employees? Are you good with dealing with problems at work? Created reports, sold products, sold information? Are you good at teaching, organizing information? The list goes on. What are you good at work? Okay, so let's look at your own life experience. What have you figured out on your own? Maybe you've learned how to budget. Maybe you have learned how to lose weight. Maybe you've organized your own wedding. Maybe you have learned how to manage anxiety through journaling. Maybe you've learned how to rebuild your confidence. Maybe you learned how to meal prep. The list goes on. Now let's look at your natural abilities. What do people always come to you for? What is that thing that won't leave your mind, as I mentioned before? Are you that friend that everyone calls for specific advice, for tips? What is that thing? What is that advice? Those are clues. Pay attention to that, because sometimes those clues that come so easy for us, for you, is hard for someone else. Okay, so understand that that is your potential offer. That's your potential business knocking at your door. Okay, so now here's where we go from I have a skill to I have a business idea. So let's use the admin assistant as an example. You need to connect your skill to a problem. So using the admin assistant as the skill, what problem can you solve as an admin assistant? You can help small businesses with their systems. You can help you can actually turn your offer into a virtual assistant service and help creators with their systems, as in sending emails or speaking to customers. You can create business organization templates. You can help entrepreneurs in creating, a digital planner, for example, to help them organize their life. Okay, that is so necessary. Let's use another example. Let's say that you're a teacher. Let's say that you're a teacher and your parents are struggling to teach their kids how to learn the alphabets, numbers. You can create study guides for students of that particular age. You can create, as an offer, as a service, tutoring services. That is in demand. Do you know that? That is in demand. There are a lot of parents right now that don't have the time or the effort or the energy to help their children learn English, learn the alphabets, learn colors, numbers. You can create tutoring services, study guides, workshops, mini courses. Do you see where we're going now? You have the skill connected to a problem, and then the solution, then the offer. Okay, so this is important. I don't want you to go to ChatGPT or walk into your office tomorrow saying that ChatGPT told you to quit your job. No, ma'am. No, sir. Okay, we ain't doing that. Okay, first we're gonna have to validate the idea. Yes, you have a wonderful idea. You have a beautiful product, but you wanna make sure that your audience wants that specific solution. They want that specific product. So how are you going to do that? Before you quit, you're going to test the idea. You're going to validate it. You're going to validate that the solution, the offer that you want to create or have created. I highly recommend that you wait on creating the entire thing before you validate it. Okay, it'll save you so much time, energy, and maybe even some money. Talk about the problem online. This is how you're going to validate it. Talk about the problem online. Talk about the solution. Talk about the service, the product. Talk about how that product can help them make their life easier, and see how they respond. Help one person, help another person, get feedback, and see where it goes. Okay, this is something I wish somebody would have told me instead of spending hundreds of dollars and energy and time on creating offers after offers without even validating the idea. Entrepreneurship is more than being good at something. You also have to learn how to communicate it and how to sell it, okay? You need to learn how to communicate that offer. You need to know that you do have something valuable outside of your 9 to 5. Your job can fund the beginning of your business, okay? Your paycheck can fund that software, the microphone, the business registration, the course, the tools, etc. Don't hate this season, okay? I know you don't want to hear this, And if I'm speaking to you, listen, as someone who quit their job with no plan, it worked out for me. I'm not going to say it was easy, but what I'm going to say is that please be strategic in learning and using this season wisely. Get out of your feelings, hone in on your skills, figure out what you're called to build, figure out how to learn how to communicate your offer, your messaging, refining your messaging. This is what this season's for. Use that paycheck wisely and use it towards courses, coaching, workshops, digital products, things that can help you get ahead instead of you taking a whole nother year to learn something that you can actually learn in 30 minutes. So after you've identified that skill, now it's to turn that into an offer. Is it a digital product? Is it a service-based business? You're offering tutoring sessions? Is it a workshop, a mini course? Don't overwhelm yourself with this. Don't overcomplicate it either. You want to keep it simple and strategic because this is the offer that you're going to use towards your content. This is where you ask yourself, what is the simplest way you can send this offer to someone? Is it a template, a guide, an ebook? Is it a one-on-one session? What is the simplest way that that person can receive your solution? And then I want you to start building before you're ready to leave. I know you want to punch that clock and say deuces to everyone at the office, but listen, you want to be strategic. You want to start actually having something that's working before you call it quits with your job. Okay, so start creating content, start developing skills, learn marketing, learn sales. Become the entrepreneur right now. Don't wait until you resign from your 9 to 5 and say, okay, now I'm an entrepreneur. No. Become that entrepreneur right now. You're going to have to work on the weekends, work after you clock from your 9 to 5, work on spare time. Don't overwhelm yourself, of course, but work on your business and pay attention to the problems. Pay attention to what comes easy for you. Start building your audience. Start collecting your emails. Start making your first sales, because by the time you know it, it may be time for you to be like, you know what, I'm ready, it's time to go. The business that you've been building quietly after work is now a real option. And that's different than you waiting to feel ready or you not knowing where to begin. The business you've been building quietly after work is working. Now, you're leaving with confidence, you're leaving with a plan, you're leaving with clarity. You're leaving with knowing what you sell and who you help, which is so, so important. So before you quit your job, learn how to turn your skills into an actual business. Look at your work experience, look at your life experience, look at the things that come easy for you but hard for someone else. Look at the idea that won't leave you alone. That is a very strong clue. People are coming up to you for something right now. What is that thing? That is another clue. Ask yourself, what problem do I already solve with what I already know? You may not need another 6 months to figure out another business idea. You may need to take some time, grab a piece of paper, and brain dump every business idea that comes to mind that you've been sleeping on. You just never know what it is that you hold in value, be it skills from your 9 to 5, be it a life experience that you've transformed, something that you've experienced traumatically. Recognize the value in what you already know. If you're sitting there thinking, I have the skills, I have the ideas, but I don't know where to start, I feel stuck and overwhelmed, this is exactly what I help you as aspiring entrepreneurs, or if you're already a business owner or entrepreneur, this is what I help you with. I help you identify your skills, your strengths, and turn them into businesses. Check out my resources below, because I help you turn those skills, those ideas, and turn them into an actual businesses that you can actually profit from. If you have a skill or an idea in mind, comment below what that skill is. Tell me one skill below that you think that can become an actual business. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to this video, and send this to a friend that's actually thinking about quitting their job on Monday. Until next time.